Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is Saturday night, and you know what that means. It's Ascension eSports' Elder League coming to you live from Doctor and LoveDi. How you doing tonight, LoveDi?
I'm doing pretty good, and I'm looking forward to seeing some high-quality games today.
High quality as always, and they're jumping right into these picks and bans already. We got Zillion off the board, we got Zach off the board. Zillion's a little confusing to me, though.
Well, we're going to have to see how exactly that fits into their overall game plan. Today's matchup is going to be Squid's Wards versus Sparks Plugs, for those who are unaware.
And I thought about it for a second, and I actually just realized that Corin the Cat is the mid laner for Squid's Wards, which is why we have that Zillion ban, because Corin is a dirty Zillion picker.
Dirty Zillion picker completely negates any kind of all-ins coming in from the mid lane. So we see that with that banned away, maybe we're going to have some aggressive mid lane trading going on, perhaps. Zach's been banned away despite the nerfs, still pretty standard ban. Don't really want to give the enemy jungler all that playmaking ability, especially with the potential first pick it might bring. Ari's been banned away as well. Pretty safe mid lane pick. Right after Echo, considered one of the safest right now, especially in the 1v1. So with that off the board, going to most likely see some Syndra dominance if she still manages to get through the pick and ban. Considered one of the strongest lane dominant junglers right now, or lane dominant mid laners.
So I don't think we're going to have a super interactive mid lane. Corin does have a couple other picks that are pretty non-interactive that really control the lane and make you do what they want you to do. So we're probably still going to see something sneaky, especially with so many teams this week having to throw in some E-subs. Lots of teams are missing bans. And so we can even see here the Lee Sin gets picked up, which is pretty powerful in the mid lane. Not the mid lane. In the jungle role.
Well, it could be if you're Froggen.
Froggen, Faker, Keen, I think, was another big one.
Yeah, of course, Lee Sin being locked in, especially with that Zac being banned away. Lee Sin can really dictate the early game. Very aggressive jungler, a lot of playmaking ability, really a staple of the jungle matchup. And we can see that Gragas has been locked in return. Could potentially be the counter pick for the Lee Sin. It does have the body slam to kind of cancel out any resonating strikes that might be coming out from the Lee Sin. And we see that Ashe has been locked in as well. Gragas could of course also be flexed into the top lane, not the worst blind pick in the world, so we're really going to have to see how that develops in this draft.
With Ashe is interesting because the Caitlyn's banned away, right? But aren't there so many more high quality picks? Like, if I'm any 80 carry right now and Caitlyn's banned away, I'm picking Tristana.
I mean, we have seen Tristana get a little bit more popular in the last couple weeks in competitive specifically. We haven't really seen it in the games we've been casting, but what it does excel in, of course, is the fast pushing in the lanes, and also some really decent team fighting with the way the resets work and the scaling up, especially with that huge attack speed buff. I believe one of the biggest attack speed buffs you can really attain in this game. Tristana is definitely one of the more preferred hyper scaling champions that doesn't have the really the problems that maybe a Kog'Maw or a Jinx might have with the lack of mobility. But at the same time, it's risky to blind pick that because it's still not the strongest blind pick. So picking up the Ashe, it's safe. You have the playmaking ability. You have the volley to still kind of safely farm waves you might be zoned off of. And of course, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow provides a lot of wiggle room on how you want to initiate those team fights. We see that Lux has been blind picked in the mid lane for Coder Chick, unless we're going full solo queue with a Lux support. I'm going to assume not. And Jhin being locked in as well. Jin's another one of those champions. He's kind of fallen a little bit out of favor in the meta. You see him picked up once in a while. If anything, more to really just test where he currently is on the scale of strength. But he does have the potential to definitely be a sort of lane bully.
Yeah, the Jhin is super interesting to me because, you know, we have the the Zeal meta right now where you go static into rapid fire cannon, but that's not typically a Jhin build, so it seemed super interesting to see him pop back into the meta. You know, we're seeing him almost every game competitively. He's like becoming the new Ashe, but he doesn't really go the same build path, which is super bizarre. But Ashe is a very strong soft counter if you can land that Enchanted Crystal Arrow as a denial on the curtain call, which is super fun to watch. But it's an interesting lane as well.
So something interesting to note is how they decided to do their bans. They have Raven's Man, I believe Amazing Wing Wang, and Ouchies all being subs coming in last minute. So they do lose out on 3 bans, but the way they decided to kind of space out those bans, they wanted to use 1 in the initial pick. They wanted to get rid of that Zillion right away from Corrin, but they decided to delay their secondary ban until the second phase so they could ban away the Orianna, another mid lane matchup. After they decide they want to go with the Lux in this composition, they don't want to maybe have that very specific 1v1 matchup in the mid lane. Some other things to point out is with that Fiora being locked in as well, we know for sure that's going to be a Gragas in the jungle. Well, maybe I'm speaking a little too soon. We could always go full CLG and have that Fiora in the mid lane, but we're going to assume that's not going to be happening.
Well, before the Zyra lock-in, we could have thought it was maybe a Gragas support as well, which is crazy strong and would make Jin's life just absolutely horrible. But with the Zyra lock-in,
a little more standard. Yeah, Zyra, a staple for multiple seasons now. Lots of CC in that lane and a lot of pick potential that the team can take advantage of. Fiora is going to love all that CC to complement her mobility. Going to really be able to get into the back line in these team fights. Jhin and Lux not exactly known for their mobility as well, but we see that there's been a little bit of a challenge, the gauntlet being thrown down. Ouchies wants to go for this 1v1 duelist matchup, Fiora versus Camille. Very volatile matchup, by the way. A lot of damage and not a lot of tankiness.
Camille recently received some buffs in 7.13, so I believe it was damage increase on her Q and mana reduction somewhere. I'm having trouble remembering exactly where, but we're seeing a lot more Camille, even on patch 7.12 competitively, and it's not exactly into this Fiora pick because Fiora's most recent changes make her a very AD heavy champion. So if you actually land that Hextech ultimatum on the Fiora, she's just gonna throw down that Grand Duelist and then just duel you. She actually doesn't care about being trapped in the pit because you're trapped in there with her.
And that's important to note also, when she does manage to bring that arena down, Camille does deal extra damage to the person she targets with it. So both of these champions are going to have enhanced damage specifically in the 1v1. If there's no jungle interference, somebody's going to be dying very, very quickly, and it really comes down to split-second decisions on who that's going to be. There's not really one favorite over the other. It's really more dependent, I suppose, on the Camille landing her hook shot at the correct time, kind of juking out the riposte from Fiora. We can see that Lucian was picked last, delayed until the last moment to get that counter pick onto the Lux. Despite there being 2 mid lane bans this game up against Corrin, he does manage to get a very favorable matchup. Lucian mid has been considered very strong recently, one of the most lane dominant mid laners we might have ever had. And against an immobile mage like Lux, something dependent entirely on skill shots, going to be interesting to see if Corrin can really utilize that mobility you get from the Lucian to really take advantage of this one-on-one matchup.
It's going to be interesting because Light Binding is a very slow moving projectile, so it should be pretty easy to dash out of it as the Lucian and then just throw your whole kit right at the Lux. And there's not a whole lot Lux can do from that point on, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how that lane plays out. But like you were mentioning, it is a lane bully. It looks like Corrin took Ignite. I'm going
to guess that actually has been the most recent utilization of the champion is taking the ignite in the mid lane for extra aggression. You really have that scary kill potential because as early as level 2, level 3, you can be all inning with your relentless pursuit, really trying to go in for maximum trade potential. So I do like the ignite as well. There's not necessarily a lot you can exhaust besides maybe a Camille that's popping off a little bit. So it's definitely a different summoner spell usage than we've seen here in the league, but it's not anything uncommon to have been seen so far from the Lucian mid worldwide.
I think a pretty interesting thing here is that if you take a look at Squidward's teams, you have Fiora, Lucian, Ashe as your 3 major damage dealers. Yes, you're going to have the Zyra doing lots of damage and the Gragas doing some AP damage as well. But normally when you see a comp like this, you have one true tank on the enemy team that just builds armor. Straight armor, gets like 4 armor items in a row, and then you usually ignore the the AP Zyra to like your last item. But right now there's no true tank on Sparkplugs. Camille can't do it, has to build damage to deal with the Fiora. Lee Sin can't do it because then he's just going to become an ult bot even before 6. Thresh isn't a true tank, but he's going to be the closest thing they got, but he's not going to have the gold income to keep up with that.
And important to note also, he's going to be very squishy early to the mid game because he has no armor growth on his own. It all depends on the amount of souls he can manage to get throughout the laning phase, and that's going to be something we might want to keep track of during that laning phase as well, as Zyra is very dominant in this lane. Jhin, Thresh, I can imagine, are not going to have a very fun time if Zyra can land her plants and her abilities correctly. Going to be a lot of zoning coming out. He might have less armor than we might expect coming into the mid game when these rotations start happening. And we're going to see maybe this triple AD carry comp really not, or triple AD comp I should say, really not get punished too hard for it. I do expect to see tons of ninja tabbies come out this game though.
What about Doran's shields? Because I actually made a tweet about it earlier watching the LCS, and EU had 5 Doran shields. 5 post-nerf Doran shields. So they were the 450 model where you only get 1 potion with it, and there were 5 of them in a single game.
Well, it's going to be really important, I would say, more than other games, what the starting builds are for these matchups. If the Camille or the Fiora decide to opt into the Corrupting Potion, and their counterpart decides to opt into one of the Doran's items, they're definitely going to be at a disadvantage for a lot of the early game potential trading that might be going on. But of course, the later that goes on, they might be able to scale up. I would say Fiora would basically guarantee an advantage in lane if she decides to go for the Doran shield, because Camille's going to get affected by that a lot more than Fiora really might be. We can see that the items are getting picked up now. We see Doran's blades both for the bot lane. Doran's blades really across the board for Squidward's. Squid's wards.
Squid's wards. I messed everything up. 1 second.
And then we see the Doran shield's been taken by the Camille. I do like that. Didn't go for the greedier start of like the Corrupting Potion. Doran's blade would have been okay, but really Doran's shield really is your best bet. If you get hit with a little bit of the Q poke, if she tries to go for those weak spots, uh-oh.
You see some aggression early on. IR0 forced to flash away. No deadly flourish though means that no first blood is happening just yet.
That is already the flash burn though, and what I just said about the lane dominance that Ashe Zyra can have, not a lot of lane dominance you can have if you have no flash level 1 against a Thresh. Now you're going to have to be on the lookout for potential picks, maybe even a cheese level 2 gank coming to the bottom lane right after that red buff. We really don't know, but really that's just a little bit of a mistake with how the lane assignments were working out for level 1. They decided to have the Ashe face check the most volatile part of the river rather than the Lucian, who in many cases even starts E level 1 in the mid lane anyway. Winds up getting a flash burned for really barely any information at all.
And they do get, the ward on the blue buff, so they're going to be seeing Hip Optimus Prime get on that buff and start that first. So both sides are actually super clear in that they're not going for some of the super cheesy like 2-minute ganks that we've been seeing in LCS. My favorite of which we actually saw today in it was.
Are you talking about the Elise with the
No,
Raptors and
it
then
was a
Red Buff?
Rek'Sai gank. It was CLG versus C9. That's what it was. Where Rek'Sai, when started Raptor Camp, took all the mini Raptors except for, and not the big one, took red buff and then the first level of Krugs. Hit level 3 before 2 minutes and then ganked bottom lane for first blood.
That's what the experience runes. Oh, see, you can already see that trading coming in. Like I said before,
disgusting.
the level 2 trades, that's why a lot of Lucians have been taking Ignite recently. There's just so much potential with the trading. And this is some of the issues we see with starting that hookshot level 1, trying to cheese out the Ashe and that invade. Oh, we see Lee Sin went from his red buff to the enemy red buff, just straight across, and he manages to steal that away without the enemy team even knowing.
Yeah, and that first blue ward onto the blue buff of Hippoptimus kind of like fed into that, but you can also see that Lee Sin didn't touch a single other camp on the bottom side of this map. He just, took red buff and immediately ran up there.
And that entire side is going to be waiting for him when he decides to go back down.
Yeah, but now, by doing this, it's also too late for Gragas to even do anything about that. He just has to accept the fact that he lost that buff and is getting 3-buffed. Even though he's trying to get in here to maybe see what's left.
We can see this is already becoming a huge problem in the mid lane. Both the potions have already been used by the Lux. She's full HP, so at least she still has a little bit of resources to work with. But the CS deficit is already insane. That's more than 2 full creep waves of minions that she's already down, and the lane is pushing towards the Lucian anyway.
Yeah, and it's curious because most mid laners do take armor in their runes. I'm not sure if Kotichik has any, but sometimes you can kind of cheese it out and not take that armor. If you're expecting, an AP matchup, you can just take, your MR blues and replace your armor yellows with something else a bit more useful, like AP or even cooldown reduction or even anything like that. But now, you're out of mana, you don't have any health potions, you don't have any armor, and you just lose half your HP for free, basically.
Uh-oh.
But this is not good. The stun comes in, Horseman just gonna dash out. Optimus Prime is there, but unless he burns Flash, should be nowhere close enough to landing a body slam.
So they do manage to get the favorable trade. Nice riposte means that she doesn't have to burn her Flash, but that should equalize the lane a little bit. The Camille was getting bullied a little early on for having to take that E level 1. In the mid lane, we can see that deficit continue to grow, and as you pointed out, decided to do a little bit of fact checking. Lux did not opt for any armor runes, all scaling stuff. We're going to have scaling HP, a little bit of hybrid pen, but yeah, there's really nothing there that's really going to help you with the fact that Lucian is picked for this lane dominant kind of style. Opting for MR in her runes and HP per level means she just really wasn't prepared to face an AD mid laner this game.
Which isn't uncommon. I mean, Lucian is really the only true AD damage we're seeing in the mid lane. Corki's recent changes makes him a very heavy AP-sided carry in the mid lane, so you don't really have to worry about full armor as much. But we see Amazing Wing Wang making his way to the mid lane, still has his Q, does land it. First blood to Amazing Wing Wang.
So despite Lucian having so much lane dominance, he was at basically the optimal amount of HP for this gank, where he still feels confident in the 1v1, no chance of him getting solo killed, but he's still low enough to make it really easy to punish the fact he went for the Ignite instead of the heal or exhaust. He winds up getting taken down because he just played a little too aggressive, and this might be the opportunity for Lux to equalize that lane a little bit, pushing the lane back in before she recalls.
She's down 20 CS. That's a little rough. But I do feel for Lux mid lanes a little bit, because it does get kind of hard to farm, because you're what's the name of her E? Lucent Singularity? Is that the E?
I believe so.
Like, it doesn't actually fully clear the backlane minions for a long time. So you can take 2 or 3 of them without auto attacks to really clear that wave. But we do see a hook shot in the top lane. Ouchiness is able to get the shield, but it doesn't quite work because it ends up on the far losing side of that trade. And that's having already gone back. Fiora's just going back now.
We can see also that all three lanes are currently winning. Despite the first blood going down, these are aggressive lanes. The flash was not punished whatsoever. Ashe's flash is already back up. They've been winning the lane for a while. Thresh has been constantly bouncing between a 4th and a 3rd HP for the last 2 minutes of this lane. Really, not a lot you can do when at any moment you can get all in, and we might be seeing that happening right now.
I didn't know if Thunderlords was available. Thunderlords might have been the kill there, but it does get the flash out of Ravensman. So that's one more thing that they can make work in this bottom lane with level 6 very close, actually.
Something I want to point out as well, since we were on the topic of runes and masteries a little bit earlier, we can see that Hipoptimus Prime has opted for the Ray route of masteries and runes. He's going for the Fervor of Battle on the Gragas, most likely a mistake. Ooh, a little bit of a trade. And motorcycles.
Yeah. It's supposed to, like, hurricane where I am. Why are you on a motorcycle?
Well, but yes, that is in fact a Fervor of Battle Gragas.
Which is... obviously Thunderlords... Obviously, Thunderlords is better. Obviously, you know, Grasp...
Oh.
Why would you back there?
Okay.
Iris, please.
I mean, the fact that he flashed to begin with, knew he was expecting the hook as well. He wasn't caught window shopping or anything.
Here comes the Hextech Ultimatum. The flash in from Coder Chick doesn't get the immediate kill, but has enough HP plus the barrier to survive that engage while picking up a kill for herself. But that's both summoners down for just the Ignite.
It seems that the idea is not necessarily to survive this lane, more as to punish the aggression by Corrin and try and get the rest of the lane assignments a little bit stronger for it. Fiora's coming down to contest this dragon.
It is too late, however, that's already gone over. They have
we got
vision.
a collapse maybe.
They have vision
Multiple
on
members,
both
level 6 on the
sides.
too.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes in onto Amazing. Can he get out? He cannot. The Gauntlet goes down, gets the kill. Double kill for Horseman. He's stuck over the wall. Body Slam lands onto Raven. Ultimate already been used by the Gragas. So it is a 2-for-0 going over to Squidwards. Squid Swords?
Despite losing the Infernal Drake, very nice punish. I love how they managed to collapse. They realized the Fiora was down there. They came in from multiple angles. There wasn't a correct path to really run towards. And for those wondering what exactly that Gragas ulti was, it was ambitious, but the general idea was Hip Hop really thought maybe I can manage to blast these guys into the wall, keep them pinned for a moment, basically a pseudo stun. We might not be done yet.
You're caught, buddy. Body Slam
Why would you
over
hit
the
the plant?
wall. Now he's trying to... Hipoptimus is actually by himself. No Body Slam available. No Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Raven Smash should be able to just walk out of this. And he does.
Well, we saw that the Courage of the Colossus got procced off of that plant exploding, which means Thresh was the one who decided he wanted Gragas to come say hello.
Might have been a misclick.
Perhaps. It might have been a misclick. I mean, Gragas is a little bit on the heavier side.
Amazing gets caught, forced to use the Dragon's Rage. Still on a ward, however. Flash in from Horseman. Can they get the damage? Oh, the light blinding into the riposte!
No.
Now he has double buffs, trying to keep going. Stun onto 4 Horsemen, super duper low. Might end up getting traded. Still alive, still taking kills. Double kill for Corrin the Cat. And Horseman lives!
And that was just kind of a strange situation. Lee Sin manages to get caught out in the river, burns a lot of his skills really before Fiora even starts threatening him. Once she realizes that all the peel and movement is really down, she goes for the all-in, and the collapse from the rest of the team was a little bit late. Lux whiffed a couple skill shots, actually wound up getting the Lee Sin killed with a very projected Q as well.
I mean, that was still a fantastic riposte. I mean, didn't use it on the Dragon Kick, even though that was pretty telegraphed as well. Didn't use it, or couldn't use it on the hook shot. But just the perfect series of events coming in for the Fiora. Now 3-0-2, Enchanted Crystal Arrow going on to Lux. Gets knocked up by the Stranglethorns. Flashes anyway. Still goes down to Iris, though. Now Amazing showing up. Gonna see if he can get the Resonating Strike. He cannot. Dragon's Rage isn't available. Comes up just now. So there wouldn't have been any way to finish that kill off.
We can see also, looking at item builds, kind of the difference in priority. There's a Cinderhulk being built by the Gragas. He realizes, I've got 3 winning lanes, all pushing. I've got a lot of lane dominant champions that also are decently scaling up. I don't really need to be building this Runic Echoes. We've got plenty of damage. Even if we need the magic damage, we have the Zyra for it. So he's getting that Cinderhulk first. Recently buffed, or at least changed. It's not going to be as good as it was last patch currently, but the second he has even a giant spout completed, or any real tank item after that, he's going to be even tankier than he was last patch. The changes to it, of course, increase the scaling a lot more. They do manage to get the Rift Herald as well and give it over to the top lane Fiora.
Yeah, they give it to the Fiora, which is super interesting because that means they're going to focus this top lane and just smash this Camille as hard as possible. Because typically you would give the Rift Herald over to your jungler because then you can put it wherever you want, like wherever there's a low tower. But now huge engage on Dakota Chick. Here comes the barrier.
That's a kill.
Gets the shield from Raven though, but now Raven is dead to rights. Double kill for Corrin once again. Now 420 Blaze It on the board.
And
now
eventually,
here, this is what I was talking about. You could have used the Rift Herald right here, and you'd already be knocking on tier 2 towers.
But look at where the enemy jungler is. They're going to not only take this tower, but they're going to start pressuring topside. Lee Sin's in the wrong position right now. Thresh is gone. They don't want to 2v2 this. They could be running right into a Zyra.
Hextech Ultimatum coming in. Horseman doesn't even care. Trying to ignore Ouchiness, but Ouchiness is putting down tons of damage. Is going to lose the tower eventually, however. And now Rift Herald is just kind of going to fizzle out from here on out.
That's going to be a ton of gold.
Amazing, getting caught by Corrin. Holy moly, look at that damage. Lux is now under pressure, has the fourth shot primed and ready. Amazing goes down, double kill for Corrin, just putting on the repeat.
25 gold? What?
From what, the Rift Herald?
It's supposed to be 50. They changed that this patch.
Oh,
that's a kill.
That was a lot of damage. I wasn't even ready for that. I was going to let you finish your point while like they just walked away from each other. And then Ouchiness just died. So I was like...
was very nicely played. I love the way she positioned herself as well to get the very specific vital points. She went top, then bottom, then right. Most people, they'd obviously opt for the closest vital point they can hit. But Fiora realized she could stretch a little bit and get 3 instead of 2, and that was just enough damage to chunk Camille so hard it surprised us as well as it surprised her.
Yeah, and so chat's saying that it's 50 gold to the Rift Herald Rift Herald killer in the pit. So whoever claims the Rift Herald for themselves.
Really?
Amazing. Finding himself. Has smite though, so Horseman not going to be able to pick that up. But Dragon is live. It is a Inferno Drake. It's already going down though. Optimus says mine. Ooh, Curtain Call coming out. Gonna get blocked though. TP coming in from the Camille. Gets canceled. Enchanted Crystal Arrow not gonna land. Neither is the Light Binding.
What? I just realized the mid Lucian build. That's definitely different.
We're gonna have a talk about it. Horseman going in 1v3 is fed. Maybe not this fed. Deadly Flourish lands onto Horseman. Dragon's Rage on to the Lucian. Still chasing though. Amazing is taking so much damage. So is Lux. They're continuing. Corrin the Cat should be going down here. Shutdown coming in for Amazing. Horseman should be going down as well. Throws out the riposte. Goes down anyway. 2 pickups for Amazing. And 2 shutdowns as well. And this Lucian build is horrible. There is no defense here.
Well, no, that's a big reason for why you build or why you play the mid Lucian right now is because the Blade of the Rune King Black Cleaver build doesn't really sacrifice damage, but gives you a ton of survivability and mobility. Going for the Essence Reaver into the Rapid Fire. I mean, I know that Rapid Fire and Shiv are a little bit stronger than they used to be, but this is almost a form of BM in itself, deciding to go for this lane dominant pick and then go for this scaling build anyway, basically telling all of Spark's plugs that, hey, you can't stop me from scaling. I don't need my item spikes. I can get my 3 items just fine and we can still win anyway. That's essentially what it says.
I mean, the biggest problem with that thought process is that Lucian doesn't have the best damage scalings. That's why he's not picked for those late game carries. That's why he's not Tristana. That's why he's not Caitlyn. That and the range, which definitely helps. But
it may be that because I do remember him backing his first back giving a BF sword, huge spike in damage. Of course, when you have the gold for it, it's a huge temptation to decide to go for it. The only problem is the traditional Lucian build that's been used for the last several months has not really used the BF sword until 4th item. That's just straight up dead. My goodness.
yeah, that was a lot of damage from the culling, even through the barrier, not able to do anything amazing. Lands the resonating strike, but with no friends, he's kind of left out to dry.
Really, though, he is taking full advantage of it. He's got more CDR than he'd have with the normal build as well. He sacrifices a little bit of movement speed without the Black Cleaver and Blade of the Rune King active, but as we can see here, his chunking potential is even stronger than the traditional Lucian. So he does manage to at least take advantage of the fact he's still managed to scale up with these items. He's managed to spike up so insanely fast with the CS lead he had, and then the multiple kills he snowballed off of, where he's not actually going to get punished for going this build. It's not the traditional build by any means, but there is a reason that the Essence Reaver Zeal item build was popular for such a long time.
Hook does land into the light binding, into the Lucent Singularity, into the final spark. Not going to get the kill, barely even going to do anything. Curtain Call comes out, lands 3 bullets onto Lana. Is going to get the kick flash, and Lana should be going down. Root lands onto Horseman, but once again, trapped in here with me, not with you. 2 more kills going over to the side of Squid's wards. How much more can they get? Double light binding keeps them alive for now. The flash body slam is botched, but now they have a huge siege on this tower now, and they simply cannot defend. Half HP on both sides. Corrin is still landing these light bindings. Well, light binding from Lux and piercing light from Lucian. They kind of just smashed them together.
Yes. May as well smash them together like Lucian smashed this lane.
That's a fair bit of damage.
Yeah, okay. It's a little bit of an ambitious prediction. The next level Mad Life, the 4th dimension Mad Life.
So I'm curious if we're going to be seeing the Hurricane into the Ashe, because we saw a couple players this morning in the LCS going with a static Shiv instead, which I found a little curious. I found it a little curious, even though like Ashe's thing is like crit, but here goes down another coder, getting completely blown apart. Leona, though, might be going down herself. Does get the Stranglethorns, the Grasping Roots, excuse me, but has...
Oh, she's still going for it.
This the added move speed. Gets the flash, actually. That's pretty clutch. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to connect. Grasping Roots also going to connect. What more can they do? Flash for flash, however. We take those.
Yes, we do. Camille gets a little over aggressive. She had already burned what she wanted to from the Zyra. No reason to keep chasing. She knows that she's got no backup for it as well. She winds up getting punished for it. I think there's definitely a little bit of a mental factor building into this now. They really did get crushed early on in this game. 10,000 gold lead already. The tower difference is insane. The kill difference is insane. Those are the only real numbers they can see, and they can definitely feel that gold deficit. They realize that they're really in a big hole right now that they're going to have to try and climb their way out of.
I mean, the 2 players that they needed to not get fed, the Fiora and the Lucian, are sitting on 16 kills and 6 assists combined. So you kind of failed at that point. So it's even to a point where maybe just start writing this game off. I mean, the Fiora herself...
No, I don't know if I'd do that.
Really?
You never want to straight up write it off unless it's unbelievably bad odds against a comp that scales better than you. Maybe you just throw out the surrender. We've already casted one surrender last week, but this isn't necessarily a game you want to surrender because there's just a lot of playmaking you can still get. And as we mentioned in Champion Select, there's not a real tank in this composition. The Gragas is tanky, yes. Oh god, dude.
Why would you take that?
Oh.
In any world, why would you take that?
Alright, so what I was saying before, completely forget it. Just surrender. This game's not going to go anywhere.
Well, not only look at these CS leads. 40 CS lead on top of 7 kills in the top lane. We see the Flame Horizon in the mid lane. This is not a fight you want to take, guys. You don't win that fight. Horseman's going to turn on you, throw down the gauntlet, and kill you.
He'd rather back off. He could potentially have gone in for the 2v1. He knows that Camille's in the bottom side of the map, got spotted out by a ward, but he doesn't want to go for it. He knows his team's doing Baron. Probably wants to retain that Baron buff for himself as well. Realizes he's gotten plenty already.
And so we actually haven't seen any impact from the Sparkplug bot lane so far. I mean, they have the Curtain Call, they have the Thresh, but the plays that Squid's wards have been making around the map have been pretty away from the bot lane. Like, every time we see like a big play happening, it's like Lucian solo killing Lux or moving to the top lane, killing Camille. Or like Camille roaming down and just taking like big skirmishes between the jungle and like the other solo laners. But we've seen a couple good Enchanted Crystal arrows, but other than that, there's been a pretty low impact bot lane.
Oh, okay.
Corrin's pretty bold here. Not gonna get stunned up in a 1v3 right now. Does get
1v4.
snared up 1v4. Yeah, even with the 10 kills, it's kind of hard to combat that.
Right, he definitely got caught off guard with how many members there were specifically. But a lot of this we can also kind of...
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh my god! Okay. But now another 1v4 against Horseman 4.
This anyway. They literally
throws down the gauntlet, light binding comes in. There's still so much damage coming in. If she gets this proc, doesn't get the proc, shutdown coming in. But on the other side of the map, Ashe is pushing the base.
The riposte was mistimed a little bit. Now we've got both the solo laners getting a little silly, trying to go over aggressive in their 1v however many it's going to take.
I mean, if that riposte lands the light binding, I think that might actually
or the hook,
be...
the thresh hook. It would have been a definite turnaround. He's got the death stance and the
body slam interrupts the hook shot.
Very nice.
He gets the barrel back over him. Grasping Roots is gonna land. That should be the end. Hippopotamus Prime doesn't get his second kill of the game, but he did most of the work.
Very nicely done. The disruption was nice. We can see the Lucian's back up now. Now they're actually going to try sieging. The TP's coming in with the Fiora. She wants to start pressuring. They realize they've kind of thrown away this Baron buff a little bit, and they want to get more than just that bottom tower now in return.
It's like a motorcycle gang's in my bedroom. This is ridiculous. Lee Sin goes in. Stranglethorns goes out. Knocks up 2. Final Flare doesn't connect on any vital targets. Here comes the curtain call. Hippopotamus is just going to say, thank you for breakfast. Only 282 damage on that
really
fourth
wondering
shot.
what the curtain call was supposed to accomplish. I mean, dude, that would have been really nice timing maybe when Lee Sin was going in, but
now here is Horseman again in the 1v4. But the base is going down. We have Corrin already on the Nexus towers, and I think this game is over. I don't think there's anything to be done. Gets the flash kick, Corrin in the middle of the team, flashes out, dashes in, takes the kill. There's minions still on the Nexus towers. Lux is going down, Lux is going down, everybody is dead. Triple kill for Corrin the Cat. Final Flare goes out, connects on to 3, but doesn't really do anything, and they're still looking for kills. Flash in from Leona, gets the snare, gets the death, actually. I lied. Stays alive. Now they're tanking tower fountain. Light binding goes out. Iris is focused dead set on that Nexus. But that's a victory for Squid's wards, and pretty convincing at that.
18,000 gold lead by the end of it. Well, going out of that game, I can tell you one thing. You don't want to draft 2 losing lanes blind when you really don't have to. And these weren't just losing lanes. These were, please counterpick me with whatever hardest destroys me as possible.
I mean, Camille is a very meta pick. It's something that we're going to be seeing a lot of very soon, especially once competitive swaps over to 713. It's probably going to be seeing a lot of solo queue play, but Lux is a
Remember,
comfort pick.
Camille was locked in 3rd rotation. We had Lux and Jhin both blind picked into their counter matchups. Well, actually, hold on. It was Lee Sin first picked, and then we had Gragas and then Ashe. All right, so Jhin did pick into the Ashe. He knew what he was going up against, but then the Zyra definitely negated a lot of that. With the Karma being banned away as well, that does limit the options. Lulu, of course, to get a little bit of changes a while back. So you could still pick up the Lulu or the Nami or the Janna, but they did opt into the Thresh matchup to try and maybe reverse onto that lane, get all ins, and we can see that that didn't happen. They managed to burn the flash level 1 against the Ashe, and they still didn't manage to take advantage of it. We didn't see Lee Sin come to the bottom lane once in the first 10 minutes of the game. Lee Sin needed to have more early impact. He had one really nice gank to try and equalize the mid lane, but other than that, no impact. He stole 1 red buff and had 1 early gank mid lane, and the rest is history. The rest of the lanes just started snowballing on their own. Gragas either kept track of the Lee Sin, or the Lee Sin just was not proactive or in the right spots at the right times. And it resulted in the game snowballing out of control because, as we said, Vault top lane and 2 winning lanes besides that. So as soon as Fiora started to get the edge up in that 1v1, this game was pretty much over because all Gragas had to do was make sure Lee Sin didn't influence the game.
And yeah, I mean, Fiora had a double kill pre-10 minutes. Lucian had a double kill after a double kill after a double kill after, I think, a triple kill. So, like, there's just so much damage there, and you simply cannot build defense fast enough.
Right. I really don't like specifically the blind pick Lux. I mean, Lux was meta for a little bit, but that was more into other mages.
I mean, currently Lux is a comfort pick right now, and it's a pick that can do stuff, but it's just such hard countered by that Lucian that I'm curious to see what we're gonna have going into game 2.
Right. Going to be interesting to see if they decide to opt for something a little bit more lane dominant in the draft, or if they decide to go for these blind picks again and hope they don't get punished for it.
But we are going to have to wait and see, guys. So stay tuned. We got more League of Legends coming at you. We will be right back with Game 2 between Sparks Plugs and Squid's Wards hitting the Rift. So stay tuned, guys, and we'll be right back.